Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good day and welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here on this Tuesday, the 1st of December, 2020. Not going to be 2020 much longer. And you know what? An awful lot of people are getting in a lot of trouble right now. I'll tell you why. Because things are running out for them. The old saying, your luck's run out, Now we got I'm going to say 100 million people are affected in the United States because they're counting 50 million people that haven't got work right now, and but for each one of those person that hasn't got work, there's extenuating circumstances in their life. Maybe they got a child, or maybe they got two children, or there's other people that are dependent upon the job that they had. And so what we're probably really looking at is 100 million or more in the United States. And, they've been using their credit cards to try to get by. They've been using what's left of, there's nothing left of the $1,200 they sent them. It's just coming. It's coming now down to the wire. And the eviction moratorium is going to be ending on December 30th, the end of this month. The eviction moratorium is ending. They're going to start evicting in the millions of people. It's in the middle of the winter. It's cold outside, and everything. Food. Here in Canada, all I know is half of the migrant workers that harvest the crops aren't harvesting the crops. And so if they've only got a half of a workforce, I imagine that a lot of crops are just sitting on the vine until they rot, and this is a worldwide problem. It's not just in America, not just in Canada, it's all over the world. We're heading toward a crisis. And it looks like this crisis is going to start to occur probably around the new year after Christmas is over. Even Christmas is going to be a crisis this year. And, I'm going to tell you what, I'm still forecasting an economic recovery because I think they're going to do something. I think what's going to happen in the next couple months is going to lead to something so dire that they're forced to react to it. Now, back when this crisis began, things were a lot better for the people out there, and they did the CARES Act. Now they're not doing nothing when things are really bad for people. So there's going to be some sort, I don't know how this is going to manifest itself, some sort of public outcry, or whether it's going to be riots, or I just don't know. But all I know is the pressure's on now. Big time. So we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out into the new year. Okay, with that said, let's get started and let's focus on the markets and let's get in there and let's start the show right now on the markets. First thing we're going to take a look at is the silver price. Now, silver it's heading right back up again. So if you guys didn't get in during this dip, there's no guarantee we're ever going to see it come back down again. Really, I'm serious about this. The same thing with cryptocurrencies. There's no guarantees in this whole thing that we have going right now, because we don't know exactly when the government is going to yield and start printing massive amounts of money to try to get out of this situation and inflate the dollar. And, we know that these other asset classes like gold, silver, cryptocurrencies are deflationary. It's just the exact opposite of the dollar. The dollar is going to be inflationary, and these other asset classes are deflationary. So every asset class that's connected to the dollar, which is almost everything, it's your bonds, it's your stock markets connected to the dollar. Everything's paid out in dollars, okay, or settled in dollars. And in fact, gold and silver, if you're owning the GLD or the SLV, that's going to be settled in dollars too. I can see a failure coming to deliver these GLD and SLV, so they don't represent anything but paper anymore. SLV and GLD, in my mind, they don't represent anything but paper. So if you're thinking about cashing them in, there's a certain time in the future you're not going to be able to get silver and gold for them. So they don't represent silver or gold. It's going to be settled in cash. So what you got to do is you got to get the real silver and gold. Even if you got to pay a premium, if you want to hold silver and gold, you should get the real thing. But you have to be very, very careful you don't get into any Chinese-made fake silver or fake gold. They do that. Anyway, we're looking at a silver price. Right now, it's just started to go almost straight up, vertical. It's up $1.27, which is a big day for silver. That's a big day for silver. Let's take a look now at the gold price. 1814, it started to go straight up too, right now. It's up $37.90 on the day so far. So they're looking good. Cryptocurrency, it's been up and up and up, we're getting up near 19,000 right now on the price. $566.7 billion market cap. 18,750 for Bitcoin. There's a race going on now. Litecoin has moved ahead of Chainlink, and it's moved ahead of Bitcoin Cash, which I thought it would. And it's right in there next to XRP and Ethereum. Now, XRP is a dark horse. I don't know about XRP. It could end up going up sky high, or it could just go, the whole thing could go belly up. You have to realize that there's an awful lot of XRP coins out there being held. They got them like stored away, billions and billions and billions of them. Ethereum, though, Ethereum is more of a collectible type, because there's certain amount of limitations to the amount of the quantities of Ethereum. But not like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the hoarder's dream. Bitcoin's a hoarder's dream. It's so limited in quantity. It's almost like a collectible, like an antique collectible that they only made so many of. You know what I mean? It's more so than gold, even in that way, that it's so limited in the amount that there will ever be made. It's $18,793 right now per coin. Dow Jones Industrial Average today is up 266 points. Now, this market is so volatile right now. Unbelievable how volatile it is, because it's been pumped up to the moon, and now it's sitting on the moon. As far as we got a crisis of unimaginable proportions going on that affects the financial system. We're in a depression, for crying out loud, but we got a stock market that's threatening to make all-time new highs, and the two don't correlate. It's completely it's all abstract at this point. And so investing in this market is, but then again, don't bet against this market. Don't try to short this market. But at the same time, on the other side of that coin is, to invest in this market is extremely risky, and you're going to get paid out in dollars. And the dollar right now, I would say, is the riskiest asset on earth. Penny stocks are not as risky as the dollar. Dollar is the riskiest thing that you can own right now at this point, because they've told you that they can print it to infinity. And when things get tough out there, and I think things are going to get tough very soon, they're going to enter into a new phase of printing like we've never seen before. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to let the whole system collapse, and the whole system's on the verge of collapse. They're going to print their way out of it. And they can. They're not out of tools. You hear these guys out there saying, hey, the Fed's out of tools. They can't do this and they can't do that. Well, you just wait and see what they can do. What crazy stuff that they can do that you never thought of. Off the top of my head, I can think of things like they might send every person in America a credit card that's linked to the Fed. And maybe it's got like a $35,000 limit on it or whatever, and no interest to pay on it, sort of thing. They could do stuff like, you wouldn't believe what they can do. They've already kind of broken their own mandates and stuff, like when they buy in corporate bonds, and uni bonds and stuff. I'm going to tell you, they can do a lot more. They can buy this market. They can buy the Dow Jones. They can just enact some sort of emergency powers or whatever, and they can do whatever they want. They got an unlimited printing press. These people that are hoarding dollars right now, they're not thinking about what the Fed can do. if push comes to shove. And, as long as things are drifting along and nobody is really complaining too much, people are accepting the new norm, the Fed's going to remain stingy. Until it all turns down, and until the people get upset. Then that's when they'll start to do something. Okay, let's take a look now at crude oil. 44.68. It's down 1.46% today. It's 66 cents. It's down. The move index, which we're keeping our eye on, hasn't been doing a whole lot lately. It's at 40.84, so we're not going to pay too much attention to that. We're only going to pay attention to the move index. If the move index starts to shoot up rapidly. Bonds and rates today. We're looking at, now this is kind of impressive. We're looking at, on the 10-year, we're looking at a move of 7.1 basis points. It's at 0.91. And we're looking at a 30-year. We're looking at a move of almost 8 basis points, 7.9 basis points on the 30-year at 1.65. So that we got to keep our eye on that. That's quite a large movement to the upside on the long end of the yield curve. But I'm going to tell you guys what. The Fed can't let that go too high. If they have to, they'll do yield curve control if it starts to climb too quickly for their liking. And I'm going to tell you, today is taking their notice because it's climbing quite a bit. Let's take a look at the dollar index now at this point. 91.36. So we're looking at a little bit of a weak dollar. And it's dropping today quite rapidly, the dollar. I wouldn't say it's fallen off a cliff, but it's dropping. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. I think in the very near future, we're going to see unbelievable prices on anything that's divested from the dollar. Because this crisis is far from over. And in order to get through this crisis, they're going to have to start printing soon. The longer they delay on printing, then the more they're going to have to print in order to bring it back to somewhat of a normal, And the crisis that unfolds, it could be unparalleled in human history. We've already seen big, long lineups to food banks and everything. What about when the food banks run out of food? All the dollars in the world, though, they cannot make more food. And, I'm very concerned about this, that we might run into a situation where we have dumped a lot of food in the world earlier in the crisis, They couldn't get it to market or whatever, and now the migrant workers are not coming in like they were before, and so now the food production is going to be off of new food. And just because they dump a lot of food doesn't mean there's a lot of food out there. Gonna have to wait and see, but they've already warned. They've said that millions of people could be affected, especially in third world countries, from just lack of food. It's hard to believe in this modern world that people could starve to death, but this could actually happen, especially in third world countries, if something doesn't happen. I'm going to tell you guys what. Just last night, there's a new avian flu out there. It's very, very, it's very, very hard to get rid of and stuff. And it's getting into the duck farms and into the chicken farms and stuff. And, that's one of our big mainstays of meat production. Chickens and eggs, We've already had trouble with the pork, Diseases now are causing massive problems. Okay, listen, thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.